You didn't plan for this day. Nobody ever does. It started with a file you weren't supposed to open, a conversation you weren't supposed to hear, or a number on a spreadsheet that simply didn't add up. You told yourself it was a mistake. You closed the tab, went home, ate dinner, watched something on TV, and tried to sleep. But you couldn't. Because once you see something like that, truly see it, you can't unsee it. By morning, you had made a decision that would split your life into two permanent halves, before and after. You decided to expose your own government. What happens next is not a movie. There's no dramatic music, no slow-motion walk toward a journalist's office, no guarantee that the truth wins in the end. What happens next is something far more complicated, far more dangerous, and far more human than anything Hollywood has ever shown you. The clock starts the moment you make contact with a journalist, a lawyer, a foreign embassy, or a leak platform. From that point, you have roughly 48 hours before internal systems flag the anomaly. Modern governments don't need someone to physically catch you. They need an algorithm to notice that a file was accessed at 11:43 p.m. by an employee who had no operational reason to be in that directory. Your first mistake is thinking you're invisible. You used the office Wi-Fi. You forwarded the document to a personal email. You took a photo of the screen with your phone, a phone that has location services enabled, a phone registered in your name, a phone that pinged 3 government-adjacent cell towers while you were doing it. The second mistake is telling someone you trust, a partner, a best friend, a sibling. Not because they'll betray you intentionally, but because fear is contagious. And when investigators start asking questions, casually, over coffee, framed as routine, the people who love you are the least prepared to lie convincingly. Within 48 hours, a quiet internal review has already begun. You don't know this yet. You're still going to work. You're still saying good morning to the same colleagues. You're still eating lunch at the same desk. But somewhere above you, in a room you've never been in, your name is being written on a whiteboard. Here's what they don't tell you about whistleblowing. The loneliness is immediate and total. You cannot talk about what you know. You cannot explain why you're distracted, why you jumped when your phone rang, why you've started taking different routes to work. The people around you are living in the world as they believe it to be. You are living in the world as it actually is. That gap between their reality and yours is one of the heaviest things a human being can carry. Edward Snowden described it as feeling like a ghost before anyone knew he was gone. Daniel Ellsberg said the hardest part was the years of silence before the leak. Every whistleblower describes the same unbearable duality, performing normalcy while internally dismantling everything you once believed about the institution you serve. Forget the dramatic raid. That comes later, if at all. The first response is always quieter and more surgical. They begin with discrediting infrastructure. Before your name is ever made public, a narrative is being constructed around your character, your motivations, and your mental stability. Past performance reviews are revisited. Old emails are reread with new intent. Any personal vulnerability, financial stress, relationship problems, a history of complaints becomes a thread they begin to pull. Then comes isolation. Colleagues are subtly discouraged from contact, not through direct orders, but through the atmosphere of association. Being seen with you becomes professionally uncomfortable. Meetings you once attended are rescheduled without your invitation. Legal pressure follows. Not always criminal charges, those are loud and draw attention. More often, it's civil mechanisms, non-disclosure agreement violations, security clearance revocations, contractual breaches. The goal is not to punish you publicly, but to exhaust you privately. Litigation is expensive. It is slow. It is designed to make you spend every resource you have just staying above water, leaving nothing left to fight with. And if the information you released is significant enough, if it genuinely threatens institutional power, the response escalates into something more internationally complex. Travel documents are monitored, financial accounts are scrutinized. The architecture of your ordinary life becomes a series of pressure points, each one quietly squeezed. You might be right. The information might be real, verified, and undeniably in the public interest. Journalists might confirm it. Investigations might be launched. Laws might eventually change because of what you did. And you might still lose everything. This is the brutal arithmetic of whistleblowing that no protection law fully resolves. Being correct is not the same as being protected. Truth on its own has no legal standing. What you're really betting on is the public's willingness to care and to keep caring long enough for the system to respond. That is a bet with genuinely uncertain odds. And yet they do. Thousands of them. Across every government, every decade, every ideology. Not because they're reckless, not because they don't understand the consequences, but because there is a specific kind of person who reaches a specific kind of threshold, a point where the cost of staying silent finally, irreversibly outweighs the cost of speaking. They do it because they looked at the information and then looked at the people it affected and found they could not hold both things in their hands simultaneously. You have 48 hours before they find out it was you. The question was never really whether you'd get caught. The question was always, what kind of person do you want to be when you are?